He's a very powerful coach named Rich Litvin. You may know him from the book The Prosperous Coach, which is really a great read if you are doing coaching in any way, shape, or form. So I was privileged enough to have a session with Rich Litvin. And one of the things that stood out the most, so here is this guy, this coach who's very successful, who has a reputation for having these amazing, powerful conversations with top achievers. And I thought, I get to talk to him, right? How could I not take that opportunity? So one of the things that was uncomfortable and powerful, one of the things that was most uncomfortable and powerful about our conversation was the silence. Long silences. He'd ask me a question, I would answer, and there would be silence. And I'm not really particularly uncomfortable with silences. I mean, I'm okay with them, but these were long silences. So long that something really interesting started happening. He would ask me a question, or I would say something, and I would ask a question, and he wouldn't answer, and instead there'd be this silence. And I would start answering my own question. The power of that silence provided the space for me to find my own answers. And I thought, wow, that's truly amazing. Because how much more powerful is it when the answer comes from me and not from him? And so I said, all right, what can I do with this? Can I do this? Can I have the courage to be silent? And by the way, Rich was real enough when I asked him if it was, I thanked him for having the courage to be silent, because I know how hard it is. And I said, that may be old hat for you. And he said, no. He said, I have to discipline myself to do that every single time. And I thought, wow, what a gift. Could I do that? How could I do that? And the second thing that really occurred to me, that really struck me from our conversation, was just the way he showed up. Now, if you're not familiar with it, there's this term in coaching, there are all this lingo, right? Every industry has its lingo about showing up. It's what you bring to the conversation. Are you showing up 100%? Are you showing up powerfully? How are you showing up? So the way Rich shows up is just, here I am. And I'm going to use some foul language here because I think it's relevant, so prepare yourself, just in case that's not okay for you. He shows up as, I am a powerful motherfucker. And guess what? So are you. And what was so fascinating about that was that it wasn't what he said and it wasn't what he did. It was what he didn't do and what he didn't say that was the most powerful thing about our conversation. And so by him showing up as the powerful motherfucker, and you are too, that was really the promise. He didn't say anything. He just showed up that way, and it was there in our conversation. He didn't have to tell me that. I rose to it, and all of a sudden I'm understanding more about myself and the power that I have, and the answers are there, even the things that I don't want to face. And that's the reality of it. The thing, I was able to pinpoint the thing right now that's slowing me down. And it has to do with, all right, I might as well go all out here in this little video, right? And it has to do with the fact that I need to let go of being responsible for everyone and being responsible for everything and holding it all together. That's what I really need to let go of. If I can do that, I move forward. If I can't do that, it's slowing me down. So all of that to say, I decided, all right, if Rich can do it, I can do it. And so in my next conversation, I said, I'm going to let this person have the space to be their own guru, to be their own coach, to find their own answers. And I'm going to ask them for permission to do that. I'm going to find a way to do that. And I'm going to take some inspiration from Rich and some of that presence that I maybe could soak up or emulate and bring it here. And lo and behold, I talked to this young woman who's amazing. And I just asked her a few questions about what she needs, and bam, there are her answers. She starts coming up with it herself. In fact, the whole entire conversation was really her coaching herself. All I had to do was show up with that knowledge and that intention that I'm powerful and so are you. And I did it again with another gentleman who, during the course of our conversation, said, "I fucking hate you, Stephanie." And it brought the biggest smile to my face, and I actually laughed, and it was the biggest compliment he could have given me, because it meant that I had the courage to ask him something that was uncomfortable, that I knew was uncomfortable for him and that was uncomfortable for me. And again, he came up with his own answers. He knew what he needed to do. I didn't have to tell him. All I had to do was just show up, ask a few questions, and provide the space for him to find his own answers. So I just would love to invite you to think today about yourself. How could you show up powerfully with your clients, with your family, with your friends? And this kind of power isn't, I'm powerful and I'm better than everyone else. It's not that kind of power. It's stepping into being who you really are. And that also means accepting the parts of you that maybe aren't particularly powerful, or I don't really think that I've achieved power in this area of my life yet, right? But it's being there with all of it and creating an intention. And what would that look like? So how can you show up more powerfully today?